Welcome to Wild Soul Gathering. I'm Dr. Sandra Marie, and I'll be your host for this episode of Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious. Hello to all you wild souls out there. I want to send a special thank you to each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to join and listen to our guests as we discuss the many aspects of spirituality. To stay updated on our latest releases, please follow us, share with friends who may be interested, and if you feel so moved, a kind rating and review is always appreciated. In the tradition of happy hour, cheers to some new insights, peace, revitalization, and perhaps an aha moment that may change your life. Welcome to Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious. I'm Dr. Sandra Marie, and our guest today is Marina Shakour Haber. She is an author, speaker, and a coach. Marina's mission is to encourage people to envision a better, more fulfilling life and to empower them to find what really matters to them. Welcome to the show, Marina.
Thank you so much, Sandra.
Marina, that is one heck of a mission statement. Your website is titled Dream a Better Dream, and you have a tag that says, Change your mind to save the world. Is society's obsession with negativity crumbling your dreams? That's pretty powerful and very timely with all that's going on in the world. Tell me more.
Yes, I spoke about it last night, and there are two ways of looking at our personal world and the world in general. And one is the way when we look at it with a positive mental attitude, and the other one is with a negative one. However, I have also observed that there are just a tremendous amount of negative cues and information hitting us all the time. And what happens is that we are truly getting a negative download, constantly being bombarded with the problems of the world. Yes, they are there, but it's just so much that we can handle. And because that is the case, we do have to do something consciously to shift our attention and our focus to the positive in life and in the world, our life in the world, so that we raise our vibrations and we improve what is versus adding on to it, making it worse. It feels natural to do that because that's our heart. We feel so terrible about tragedies and catastrophes, but we do have to shift it to raising our vibrations.
I think that that's really important, and it's interesting, the mindset that we're adding to the negativity and what may our attention be to be empathetic or compassionate to what's going on, especially if you're watching the news or you get yourself consumed with what's going on. You get more pulled into it, and it does change your reality. What are some of your thoughts or some of the tools you use to make that shift? The words make sense, but to actually action it isn't always so easy.
No, it isn't. That's the hard part. First of all, I would suggest that we shift our focus and see the good things in life. There is in everything, there's a positive intent. Instead of seeing the dark side or the glass half empty, let's try and see it from the positive aspect. In other words, look for the positive in everything. Also easier said than done. But once we start working on that, we can do that. The other thing is that we need to restrict the information overwhelm. Limit the amount of news you watch. Limit the amount of social media infatuation and that influx of information. Those are simple and obvious steps to take. The other is that instead of that negativity, focus on positive. Read positive books, read uplifting stories, do something for other people, which helps you to feel better. Instead of wallowing in your own woe, you help other people and it makes us feel good. It's natural. It's also by focusing and changing our thoughts. Instead of saying negative things to ourselves, pay attention the way you speak to yourself. I have observed that if I don't pay attention, it's very easy that I can start using negative thoughts and negative words, which will lead to me feeling bad. It brings me down. And then I see things really very dark and I become slightly on the depressed side, like not depressed, but not feeling so good about everything. And then it spins and spins and you go lower and lower. It doesn't make anything better, it makes it worse. Positive words, say them to yourself over and over again, especially in times of crises and chaos, because that helps you to navigate through these challenges better and easier.
Well, those words really speak to me. I certainly get myself caught up into that more times than I would like, to be honest with you. When life is going well, it's easier to stay positive with the self-talk, but when different things are going on, not so easy. I've recently put a more conscious effort when these are happening that I need to change and reframe it to a positive thought, because these negative, judgmental things that I'm thinking are going to become my reality, and it is absolutely not what I want to create as a creator. I appreciate you sharing the importance of not just what we speak, but what we're thinking. When we spoke before, we talked a lot about change, and we're certainly in a huge period of change currently in the world. And I think in a lot of people's personal lives that there's shifting and changing, or a desire to change. And you had said change comes from the spiritual. We cannot create change through the physical. Can you talk a little more about that?
When I look at our history, we have tried to change the world on a physical level, and we have done amazing things. So this is not a critique. We have done amazing things. We have come up with amazing inventions. We have improved life. At the same time, though, those very same inventions, or other inventions, but inventions, have also made our lives quite disastrous and even more challenging. Point is, in everything, again, there's a good and a bad side. Everything has two perspectives. What I have observed is that we cannot fix or heal the physical only with physical means. We are ignoring the fact, or unaware of the fact, that we are spiritual beings in a physical incarnation. We need to change our minds. We need to change the way we look at things and try to fix things from a spiritual level. What I mean by that specifically is we think from the head. Our conscious mind, though, is only 10% of our complete mindset. 90% is subconscious, unconscious. That 90% is the one where you are more connected to your spiritual side, the hidden side of you. If we were only to access that 90%, our unconscious, our superconscious aspect of ourselves, I have to tell you, we could move mountains. It takes a way to access that part of ourselves. And as I've been taking a hypnosis course, I have learned how to negotiate better with our unconscious, help other people with their unconscious to not be in this constant battle. And in battle, we fix nothing. As we access our unconscious and our superconscious, which is the part where we are connected to spirit and to God, when we open those channels, our power is amazing, limitless. We haven't even tapped into that. And I believe when we combine the two, we can make huge changes in this world, beneficial ones.
I totally agree with you, and I think that that's so important. And I feel like people are really becoming more open to their spiritual selves, but they're not exactly sure even what spiritual and spiritual self means. How do you help people tap into the spiritualness? If you could talk a little bit more about it, and maybe are there other tools that you use to help people understand that or tap into that incredible energy that we're not using?
There are a few ways. The first thing that I've learned is that we need to slow down. We are running and running and running mostly in pursuit of success, although even our Declaration of Independence states we are supposed to be in the pursuit of happiness. But in our society, we've got it really wrong. We believe that when we have something, then we will be happy. So we're running, and chasing, and the more we run, the more scattered we become. And that is hugely important to understand, because the more scattered you are, the weaker and more vulnerable you become, the more frenzied you are in your mind, and the more you block, because your energy is so hot, maybe so sharp and edgy, that you can't allow anything to come in. You're on fire. not the good fire, but it's just that you're pushing all the good things away from you. Your energy is off. When that happens, it is very, very difficult for spirit to access you, for spirit to come by your side and help you to get through your challenges. We are both physically and spiritually weak when we are in this agitated state. And most of the time when you look at our life today, that's all we are doing. We are over here, we are over there, and here's a little bit of information, and there's more information, and we go crazy. Calm down. Meditation is a fabulous portal into accessing that higher self of you and getting the entrance into the spirit world and opening the channels of communication. I highly recommend it if people are just starting on this journey. Start small, 5-minute increments, but do them daily and just sit still. Again, it's the stillness, in the stillness where spirit can speak to us, because there's the old joke that mediumship is the spirit has to come and we have to go up, so we meet at the middle. So we come together in the middle. In other words, through calming down, we raise ourselves while spirit lowers itself, and they can help us. Key is, if you want to get there faster, you have to slow down. It seems contradictory to our belief system, but that is when you can connect with spirit, when you can start speaking to spirit and having a conversation. I am not one who believes that we only go into prayer when we need something. I need this, I need that, there comes the begging list. Go into a state of meditation. Be grateful for what you have. Thank you, Spirit. Thank God. Thank your helpers. And then ask for guidance and ask for an opening of your channels, but then also allow it to come in. I have observed very often that when we get our intuition to speak to us, we say, that couldn't be. That can't be so. That's the doubt, our ego putting these barriers up because it feels probably threatened by higher wisdom. If you ask for it, believe me, you will get an answer. Just accept it and go with it. Don't start going, that couldn't be. That's my way that I have started it. With hypnosis, I have learned to negotiate, to access our subconscious, unconscious state by also disassociating ourselves from the moments of threat, of fear, which is again slowing down, where we can access our higher selves better.
I have to tell you that that's a common thread in a lot of work that I've been doing. I'm in this course, Mastering Alchemy, that I've been doing for about 4 years. It's got a very global group of people that participate in it. It's interesting on our call to listen to people's thoughts across the world. One of the common themes that the person who leads it, Jim Self, talks about is everyone is so eager to get there. The slower you go, the faster you get there. That almost seems to be a new theme that's getting put out there of the importance, the slower you go, the faster you get there. So thank you for putting some context to that. For our listeners, in the United States, we have a constitution. And when you said our constitution says in the pursuit of happiness, absolutely, I do know that. But it really hit me upside the head when you said that, because it seems so contradictory to how we live as a society and as a people. It is all about success, job status, money status, and all of those things. It seems to have really sucked the happiness out of our society on some level. Thank you for bringing that to the forefront, that is actually part of the Constitution. And we do need to get back to our roots of what's important.
Yeah, and you know what you said, which is absolutely brilliant. We can't wait until we get there. It's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Am I happy yet? Did I get that? Did I get that? And here's already the frenzy. As I'm saying it, I'm already starting to become agitated. Now, what are we doing? We're living for that one moment in the future. But that moment will never arrive. And I tell you why. When the future is here, it's no longer the future. It's the present. And when you don't honor, enjoy, and respect the present, then you can't enjoy your life. You're always in pursuit of, you're chasing something, and it's always out there, and you're just missing the target and the essence of what life is all about. It is about right here, right now. Enjoy what you have. Learn from your past. Look at it in your rear view mirror while having an eye on the future. You absolutely must accept and understand you're living right here, right now, in the only place you have, and that is within yourself. That's your home. Make your home comfortable, because that's where you're going to be until forever. Yeah.
Wow. Powerful words, very important. It seems so simple, but to actually action it doesn't always seem so simple. I think that that's the process of this human experience that we're having as spiritual beings. You have dedicated pretty much your life to all these concepts, everything that you're sharing with us. What kind of things do you have going that you're interspersing these into to help people?
What I am looking at doing is I'm helping people as a coach to help the one. I offer courses to help then the one. But what I'm really also interested in is, and I have been doing this for the past 2 years, is speaking. I've been speaking at and been a partner of the group Spiritual Activism, where we met on Sundays. We still meet on Sundays, forgive me. We have interesting, very knowledgeable speakers that shed a light and put a light on certain spiritual aspects that we may not be familiar with. And even if, everyone has their own take on it, it makes for fascinating and deep thinking. I personally would like to help more people, because in essence, that's really what life is about, that what we have, we give. We give to others because it enriches us back. And if I can do that, and if I can help more people be a part of this new movement that I am seeing, because there are more and more spiritual people like yourself coming together at this time, I see we are called upon to do our business so that we shift our world in this potential time of big challenges that are coming our way. When I look at just simply climate change and the effects it has and the consequences, then I see that we are called upon to guide ourselves and others to higher thinking, to higher being, to become more highly evolved beings, so that we really shift into the fifth dimension, where we will come back to the way this earth was supposed to be. A paradise designed where we grow through experience and through challenges, but not necessarily through pain and suffering and cruelty.
I agree with you, and although it may feel a little bumpy and mucky, it is a beautiful time to be here as part of the transition, to be sending the energy and the light and being a part of elevating it. It's exciting. It truly is exciting. I have done a little bit with spiritual activism. One of the things I really like about it is a lot of our listeners, I've had a lot of comments and people who have come back to me, they may not have a lot of financial resources available, is that there's a lot of offerings on their teachers like yourself who have so much wisdom and insight, where people could just jump in and participate and listen and use it, and it's not going to cost them anything. Kudos to you for doing that. I know that you're one of the founders during COVID that brought it together. So definitely appreciate you bringing that to the masses, making it available for those who want to take advantage of it.
Thank you. It is wonderful. And everything is changing, as we well know. Yes, it was at the darkest time where we did not know what was hitting us. There was no reference to this event. So it was dark. So we decided that we would be the ones that bring light in this time of darkness through the power of spiritual messages, spiritual information, knowledge, and really help the group to uplift themselves. Because again, the belief is don't add to the junk that you have, but look at the other side, add light to it. I read in this book that I just started is that evil is the absence of light. So don't add more darkness to it, add its opposite, add light. If you want to make a change in the world, add light. Start by adding light to your own being, to your own auras, to your own essence, and that will emanate out and come back and multiply. That is truly the way we can make a difference in our individual ways. Not everyone is going to be out there in the public, but you can be at home. And if you raise your vibration through meditation, through higher thinking and higher evolved being, you make a difference. Even meditation, I just heard that this morning again, when there is a group meditation, a mass meditation, crime goes down. Amazing how that works. When there is a huge boxing fight or you hear more about violence, crime goes up. Why? Because it's more, you hear more of negativity and it multiplies. Same with positivity. So my suggestion is, if you want to have a better world, let's focus on the positive, on the light.
Those are such important words. And one of the things that I love is that science has actually jumped into this, and they have research that backs up exactly what you said with group meditation. I agree with you. The important message is every single human soul out there makes a difference. We all count, and we all have the ability to do something that makes a difference. So thank you for that. The other thing you do is you're an author. You have 2 books out there. I would love for you to talk about your books. I love the titles.
Dream a Better Dream is my first book. It was for me a way to state my spirituality and really get it off my chest. Especially what I focused on in this book was, it fascinated me always since childhood that I couldn't understand why we had to go through so much hardship. Again, the suffering and the pain. Challenge is one thing, suffering and pain and cruelty is another thing. And I searched and searched for answers. I came upon a source. It's through the Joseph Communications by the author of Michael A. Vecchia from Great Britain. And he explained the fall of consciousness. And once I read that, everything to me absolutely made sense. Why we have to always fight and struggle. Why there's always this sense of lack of not having enough. Because we are the ones that disconnected ourselves from the source by creating an imbalance between positive and negative energy. Between physical, which is negative, and positive, which is spiritual. No judgment, simply a fact. That's the way it is. And once we created this imbalance in the energies, it's like when you play with atomic power and you create an imbalance, the effects are not necessarily positive. We did that. We fell from consciousness. We fell from the spirit world simply because our energies changed. There was no punishment. We changed our energy, and therefore the distance between us became greater. To me, therefore, our life here on earth started to make sense. And what I also saw is when we were able to do it, we must be able to undo it. What that requires, though, is that we have to get 50%, it's a big number, 50% is good, 50% of the people to shift their ways into a more positive and more spiritual way of living and being, becoming more highly evolved. Then we can shift the way our world is to a better way, the 5th dimension. That was my major aspect of that book. Some people felt it was a little bit maybe too out there. I felt I needed to say it and put it out there. Then came a time that I started taking coaching courses, the Jack Canfield Success Principles, because I like practical. I don't like when we get all of this information and then you stand with all that information, you go, and now what? How am I supposed to apply that to my life? So with the Jack Canfield, I learned practical tips how we can improve our thinking so that we do better things for ourselves, and therefore we can really have a more successful and more positive living. I built a course and I called that Your GPS to Success. And when a lady asked me, what is success? I was frankly baffled. She was right. What does success mean to everyone? It is really different. But then I also realized that it was really not the best title because it's, as I said before, we got it wrong. We're chasing success when we should be really being happy. It is about being. So therefore, I wrote my book that follows the course, but I chose the title Your GPS to Happiness because first you have to be happy. You have to be something to do the things so that you can have something. In my book, this Your GPS to Happiness, I have it made 3 parts: being, doing, having. Being is all about you. Learning to understand who you are and to become the best version of yourself. Then I move over to doing. There are things we need to do. For example, taking responsibility, taking action, act as if, that sort of thing. It ends on having. And clearly I'm not about having the car or the house. That's not my department. I'm offering having joy, having forgiveness, having gratitude, to stop the chase, the are we there yet, are we there yet, instead being fired up and ready to go.
I love the title, GPS to Your Happiness. It's just a beautiful title, and the words have great energy.
Thank you. I truly believe that spirit came in.
Spirit has a way of doing that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's beautiful. When it comes in and you start to become aware of it without fighting it, it's just such a rush. It's beautiful to connect with the other side.
I agree. One of the keys that you said in there is without fighting it. I don't really understand why we do, but we do. And that, I think, is thinking from our head versus thinking from our heart. When we stay in our heart, then we don't really fight it as much.
Yeah, and that is truly, if we were to just shift it from here to here, there is a technique that you can use, and it's called the 1 point. The 1 point it comes from, I believe, the Japanese Aikido that they use for the martial arts, where they tell you to get out of your head and focus on your stomach area. The 1 point, it's the point, the center of your body, which is key in being strong, is everything is the dot in the center. So if you go focus on your center point in your body and take all your thoughts out of your head and into this area above the navel, underneath the heart, you become more empowered, you calm down, and you become stronger. That's a great way for us to learn to think from the heart versus the head, to get out of our heads, become stronger, to be in the heart space.
Thank you for sharing. That is really a very useful tip.
Yeah, I learned it. I thought it was amazing.
If someone wanted to get a hold of you,
they can visit my website, dreamabetterdreamnow.com. And then, of course, they can email me, marina.shakour@gmail.com.
Beautiful. And I'll make sure that that's in our show notes. And Shakour is Shakour. When you write your name all the time, it seems so easy. You forget that others aren't used to it.
Indeed.
I've really loved having you on the show. Your insight and your spirit is so beautiful. What kind of thoughts or message would you like to leave with the listeners?
Live life joyfully. Live every day as if it were your last. Put joy in everything you do, in everything you think. Pay attention to the thoughts. Pay attention to your words. Live from the heart. Do things for others. Learn to love yourself. All of those wonderful things. But truly, it's about joy. Have joy.
What an uplifting way to end the show. Thank you so much, Marina. Again, I want to thank you for being on the show. You've been an amazing guest. I appreciate you sharing all your wisdom, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra.
And for all our listeners out there, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. Until next time, remember, embrace your wild soul. I'd like to thank our guests for joining us for this episode of Wild Souls Gatherings Happy Hour for the Spiritually Curious. To find out more about our guests, how to contact them, or detail on this episode, please see our show notes. You can also visit us at our website, wildsoulsgathering.com. We would love to hear from our visitors what you thought of this show, what you would like to see and hear in the future, questions you may have. Go to podinbox.com/happy hour for the spiritually curious. You can leave either a voice or traditional message for us. This is your host, Dr. Sandra Marie, sending each of you peace and love. Until we meet again, embrace your wild soul.